Hello and welcome. This is the CN Podcast, episode 5. I am your host, Vineet Ramakrishnan, alongside Akash Biswas. The Champions Trophy is done and dusted, but before that dust settles in, we have another carnival awaiting us, and that is none other than the IPL, the Indian Premier League, and we have a lot of storylines to discuss. We have a lot of plots, subplots, that would be intriguing for the fans. So let's dive right in. And one of the biggest talking points, Akash, has been, will this be finally MS Dhoni's final season or not?
Thalas thinks Thala knows. So that gonna be the case because be it the CSK CEO or the man himself, they have just said whenever they feel like it's time to move on, he will move on. So if this season is going to be his last, only he can say that.
Yeah, this is going to be his last or not. Well, there have been certain signals, because in one of the airport, I think he was in an airport, he was coming out, he had this Morse code t-shirt on, which had, I think, hints that this is going to be the last or the one last time or something, and the Dhoni fandom just went crazy over it. But then again, I mean, you look at what MS Dhoni was doing last IPL season, it kind of was kind of an anti-climax where there wasn't much of his participation from the game point of view, even though it was a fanfare all across, but didn't really seem like in a way where Dhoni was doing a lot in that campaign for Chennai Super Kings last season. The legacy of Dhoni, is it a case where Chennai Super Kings are trying to hold on to that legacy of MS Dhoni for far too long, or maybe just a bit for whatever reason they could?
So see, if you speak about MS Dhoni's legacy, well, of course he has created one. You know,
Yeah.
when he was picked as the most expensive player back in
Not an
2008.
icon player.
Yes, not an icon player, and he was fresh from winning a T20 World Cup. His craze was there, and he was on the verge of becoming a legend. Then
Yeah.
back then we were in college, I guess, and so since from there to till now, his aura is next to none. I mean, more than his presence, more than his game, people like his that personality, that face value he has, that he has given to CSK, and now CSK is known by him because a couple of years ago, if you see back in 2022 when he stepped down and when he handed the captaincy for the first time to Ravindra Jadeja, I think the team fell apart,
Yeah.
and he has to return to that position to control the things, to rescue the things. But now last season we saw that he stepped down once again, handed the captaincy to Ruturaj Gaikwad, and team did a great job because the things boiled down to that one game against RCB where RCB won and they qualified and CSK were knocked out. That match actually spoiled the party which was supposed to happen in Chennai, which would have marked, I believe, MS Dhoni's retirement, official retirement
Yeah.
from the IPL. But now that unfinished business, you say, or whatever you call it, but I think this season is going to be much different than we will see MS Dhoni playing, but it will be more like a mentorship by being in the team, just like Shane Warne used to do in his early years back in 2008 2009. So I think that could be the case going forward in this 18th season because yes, he will be there in the team. Last year we saw he acted like a catalyst whenever team was in a
Yeah.
fix. He used to go there. I think he played at a strike rate of 125 or so. That was his strike rate throughout the season. His average was pretty much high because hardly he got out. So I think that would be the case this season as well, where he will be there monitoring the things, but most of the things will be done by the other players. He will be, I think, on the back seat and just monitor the things how it goes on in this season.
Yeah, it's more like that thing. No, even last season, MS Dhoni hardly. Yeah, he kept wickets, but he was struggling. Come out to bat when what, 3 balls or 4 balls more at the max. I think he came in when the score when what 2.3 or 4 overs were left, and there was just fleeting things of his. Yes, as you said, he did create an impact there. How much of that impact is going to have CSK lead to success in this season is very difficult to really fathom or difficult to really judge. And the final, I'm guessing it's not in Chennai this year also. So a fitting farewell or not, it will be very interesting to see. But this brings to the question. Rituraj Gaikwad, the captain, he has had captaincy, full-time captaincy for 2 years now. Would be his third year as a batter. He has been superb. As a captain, you there's very difficult to judge because MS Dhoni has always been there, with a hand over his head. How much of a Rituraj Gaikwad, the captain, you would see in this season, knowing the fact that Dhoni would be there, but it's a last season, and you did mention about that being mentor role there. Are you going to see much more of Rituraj Gaikwad, the captain, or is it still going to be, Dhoni, be it on the sidelines or be it there in the field?
See, before the auctions, there was speculations that if Rituraj Gaikwad gonna continue as a captain or not, or the franchisee is gonna show that faith in him or not. So, if the franchisee has opted him as a captain, then I think he might have got this clear message that was going forward. If you are the captain, then run it like your team,
Yeah.
because MS Dhoni won't be there for too long. Even if it's this season is going to be his last, then from the next season he has to run the things according to him. But now there comes the fan sentiments, because we have seen
The fandom, the Dhoni fandom.
exactly, because we have seen how IPL works, how IPL team works, because and favoritism is the biggest factor. Last season we saw what happens with Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, yeah.
And CSK won't even think about it to face that kind of a situation. So I think if even if Dhoni retires per se, then they might gonna keep him in some capacity, be it a coach, be it a mentor, or whatever they can do. But they have to keep Dhoni because they cannot afford to lose that amount of fans, that number of fans which they have. Because I think there was a season in 2018 also when they had to run a train from one place from Chennai to somewhere else so that CSK fans could go there and watch the game.
Yes, right.
If that's the kind of an influence the fans are having, then CSK as a franchisee, as a organization, has to come up with certain machinery to keep Dhoni constant in that camp. And if we speak about the game part of this, then yes, as I said, Rituraj Gaikwad should now step up and now act like boss. I am the only one. I am the captain here.
Yeah.
Because that learning phase is gone now, and the other teammates also have to accept that there is a life beyond MS Dhoni, and you have to play like that. But again, that burden comes of 5 titles. You have been a champion team. You have been the most favorite team of the league. So you have to keep playing like that, no matter if MS Dhoni is there or not.
And that would be the most difficult proposition for CSK. That without MS Dhoni, how are you going to sustain that form or sustain that prolonged success with titles? That would be the biggest question mark for CSK. This IPL, we would see there are 10 teams and only 5 of them have their captains retained. The captains who were in the 2024 season, only 5 of them are back at 2025. So we have 5 teams after the mega auction, 5 teams with 5 new captains. Very interesting here in the sense, let's begin here, Akash, with RCB. The obvious choice, the moment RCB were done with their auction plans and auction was done, everybody thought it is going to be Virat Kohli back at the helm again. Virat Kohli again nearing the end of his career. I'm not speculating here for the IPL or anything for that matter, but you wanted a Virat Kohli, or RCB fans wanted a Virat Kohli to give himself a final shot at that title. Maybe this time this could have been here, but that has not been the case. Very surprising pick in Rajat Patidar, who came into this team not so long ago, 2021, as a replacement, did fantastically, won the season. After the season prior to this 2023 wasn't the greatest, decent enough, yet RCB going ahead with somebody like Rajat Patidar. For me, in my mind, RCB is a team that goes for brand values. Faf du Plessis, your captain, you had Virat Kohli for the longest time. They did not go for anybody else, but they were more than happy with Rajat Patidar. Is it a case where RCB are also looking, or first hint of trying to look beyond a Virat Kohli and trying to build Rajat Patidar, not to that Kohli level, but still thinking, okay, there's life beyond Virat Kohli.
They have to, ultimately they have to, because uh, you see how fit Virat Kohli is still at 35, 36, and yet people are speaking about his retirement.
Yeah.
And as you say of, Rajat Patidar getting that captaincy, I think it's a wise move. If they have handed the captaincy to Virat Kohli, then it might have led to speculations that Virat Kohli might become the captain of the Indian cricket team as well.
Oh, yeah.
It could have
Yeah.
been the case.
Right.
But Virat Kohli being Virat Kohli, once that he has left behind, he won't pick it up again. So I think that could be the mindset for him, for not being the captain, because we have been speaking about this thing for quite a long time now. And now if we speak of Rajat Patidar, I think the RCB as a franchisee, once again as a body, they might have tried to change their tactics, because in the past 17 seasons, if we see, they have invested too much on the face value of the players, be it
Absolutely, yeah.
Virat Kohli, be it Chris Gale, be it AB de Villiers, or for that matter Faf du Plessis, Glenn Maxwell, you just name it. They have a long list of star players. In fact, if we go back in the initial seasons in 2009, 2008, when the likes of Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Kevin Peterson, all of them were part of the RCB camp. So now I think, though it's too late, but at least better late than never was the situation for them. So I think this was the time when they thought that, let's okay now try a least I would say least famous, or at least a genuine guy
Yeah.
who could be the face of the team, and let's see what happens, because we are talking about Rajat Patidar's appointment as a captain, and we call it a surprise. Do you remember how surprising his induction into this team was back in 2021? I think when they were facing Lucknow Super Giants in the eliminator, and Rajat Patidar, who came in as a replacement
Replacement.
player and just smashed each and every LSG bowler that night, and he almost shut the shop for
I
LSG.
think he was the uncapped player to score the maximum amount of runs,
Yeah,
highest individual score or something on those
yeah,
lines. Yeah.
something on those lines. And after 2 3 years, he got to make his debut for the Indian cricket team. But all these while, he has made that kind of an impact, that if you are thinking about that RCB camp, one player after Virat Kohli, or maybe a second or third player after Virat Kohli, will be Rajat Patidar. So that kind of an impact he has made. So if now the franchisee have given him the captaincy, I think that's a very well thought strategy. Only to be seen how how well it pays off.
Punjab Kings, Akash, similar to Delhi Capitals, have always been the bridesmaid. At least Delhi made it to the finals couple of times. PBKS have not been able to, but this year you are very much confident that the Shreyas Iyer Ricky Ponting combo seems to make them one of the favorites. And I think, yeah, for the first time, I think in a long season, maybe for the first two seasons apart, PBKS or Kingsland Punjab, as they were known earlier, were never the favourites. But this time around, Ricky Ponting, Shreyas Iyer, and the kind of squad they have gotten, hot favourites. And Shreyas Iyer, the IPL winning captain, as well, coming in. Ricky Ponting, 5-time, 6-time ICC trophy winner. It's a killer combination.
Absolutely. 2021 IPL final, Mumbai versus Delhi Capitals. Who was the captain? Shreyas Iyer.
Shreyas
Who was the
Iyer.
coach? Ricky Ponting. So that kind of a combination they are, and their combo is terrific, I would say. Yes, Delhi had a bit of an, they were a bit of unfortunate that Shreyas Iyer got injured and he had to step away from that season. I think it was 2021 or
Yes,
2022, I think.
22, 21, I think. Yeah, 22.
Yeah, so and midway, Rishabh Pant was named the captain, and then in the next season, the franchisee decided to persist with Pant, and
I think
things,
there was a
yeah,
couple of that, the two JSW and GMR.
yeah. So
That
all those things conspired.
those external factors
Yeah.
are also there.
So all those factors, but now after such a long time, after 4 5 years, this combo has once again found a home in Punjab Kings. And now, if you look at their team, Glenn Maxwell is back there. They have
He didn't want to be there though.
yeah, because he had a nightmarish season before leaving Punjab
Punjab,
Kings.
yeah.
But now that once again they have shown faith in him, he might be the reason that the past performance is what he has done for Australia.
And the Ricky Ponting
Yeah,
effect.
and the Ricky Ponting
The
effect,
English,
because
Australian all-rounders,
yeah,
Australian players coming in.
absolutely, and just a couple of poor seasons cannot define a player, especially when it's a player like Glenn Maxwell. So that could be the reason, and they have also gotten someone like a Nehal Vadhera from Mumbai Indians, and you have seen what kind of an impact he
Gun
left in the
player.
past couple of seasons. And Shashank Singh is already there, and that that group of Punjabi players are also there. Arshdeep Singh, Harpreet Brar,
Prabhsimran.
Prabhsimran Singh. So I think this is a blend of youth and experience, I would say, and also with a touch of locality, because when they will be playing in that Chandigarh New Mullanpur Stadium. Local players will come into action. They will be come with the skill set that they have acquired in that surrounding. Plus, Ricky Ponting knows how to bring the best out of a player right from the he was there in the auction table, and the fact that Punjab Kings retained just two players before the auctions, which was a brilliant move, so that they can go into the auction with the biggest
Splurged
purse.
like anything in the
Yeah,
auctions.
they and that's why I think they just kept two players and released them all, because they wanted to have a big purse, so that they should not think, they to avoid such kind of situations. So now that they have gotten Shreyas Iyer as the captain with Ricky Ponting's brain working behind the scenes, I think it's gonna be deadly season for Punjab Kings. And what they missed in 2014, I think they're gonna take that box.
They're gonna take that box as well. And yeah, as you mentioned, there's this Ricky Ponting hint or Ricky Ponting stamp all over this lineup. You have Josh English. You have. I'm looking at this squad and I'm looking at X Factor players. One name I think Akash you missed out. The biggest name is Ajendra Chahal.
Yeah,
He is there.
exactly.
You have Marcus Stoinis, you have Josh English, you have Glenn Maxwell, and you have a Yuzvendra Chahal to go with Shreyas Iyer, to go with Shashank Singh, and of course, one of my favorite players, Marco Janssen, is also there. So it's just a gun 11 or 12. Look at the reserves. Azmatullah Omarzai, Aaron Hardy, Mushir Khan. So yeah, going to have a very fun season for Punjab Kings there. Shreyas Iyer, back-to-back titles could be his, could be a statement making there with once with KKR and then with Punjab Kings, but only time will tell. The third team which has changed their captain, and that is KKR. KKR, the reigning defending champions. Very surprising, Akash, that they let go of a Shreyas Iyer, but again, quite a few external factors would be there. Of course, they did retain Venkatesh Iyer for 18 crores. We all thought it could be him who would be the captaincy choice, but how the auction went about was very strange. And they eventually picked up somebody like an Ajinkya Rahane as their second or a third when he came up on the third slot, and they went ahead and announced Ajinkya Rahane a 1 crore buy as opposed to Venkatesh Iyer in 18 crore buy. You had a Rinku Singh. They were the teams that they had all their retentions plus their uncapped retentions as well. For me, at least, I was quite surprised with Ajinkya Rahane. I know a former captain with RR, with I think CSK as well, at the leadership level, of course. But a Rahane over a Venkatesh Iyer, what is that logic you think behind Venki Mysore, the KKR team management, Chandrakant Pandit, the reigning defending champions? Are they going for an very uninspiring move, very safe move, or they should have gone for something bolder?
Could have been, because they have named Ajinkya Rahane as their captain, and we all know that probably he is at the fag end of his career, and you are getting him at 1 crore, which I would say is a steal,
Yeah.
because no matter how active or inactive he is in Indian cricketing scenario, but he is still winning trophies for his team, for Mumbai team. He has done good in the shortest format as well in the Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy recently in the recent season, and also have a vast experience of playing in the IPL, of leading teams, of playing under MS Dhoni. And you just remember in 2021 or 2022 when he was bought by Chennai Super Kings for his base price of 50 lakhs. Even then he had one of the decent seasons, I would say, because he smashed one or two fifties here and there, and that came so handy for CSK in winning games. So one thing that could be the one reason, and the other is I think KKR, now that Shreyas Iyer is gone, with Gautam Gambhir is also unavailable because he is now associated with the Indian cricket team. I think the idea behind putting Ajinkya Rahane in the captain seat is like they don't want to put unnecessary pressure on their match winners, like you named Rinku Singh, Venkatesh
Yeah,
Iyer, or
right.
for that matter their overseas captain Sunil Narayane, or
Andre
someone like
Russell.
Andre Russell. So I think the management simply wanted to keep these pack of players away from the pressure, away from any kind of pressure, because last year we saw Sunil Narayane coming back to that opening slot and he did well, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why all those small things constituted together, and they work completely in tandem for KKR, and they finally ended up winning the trophy. So I think that's the only reason why they had Ajinkya Rahane as a captain, because out of all these players, I think he is the most experienced if we see from a captain's perspective, because back there in the Rajasthan Royals camp, he has some leadership experiences. Then he also led the now defunct RPSG team in 2016-17 season. not all throughout the season, but a few matches here and
Sparingly,
there.
yeah.
And overall, he has led the Indian cricket team in the longest format also. So that also counts. So that is the basic idea, to have him as a captain, so that there is a captain, even if the team uh, does not perform that well, the management does not have a grudge or something, some restrictions to sack him in the next season.
Absolutely.
You can't say about that. But yeah, that could be the thing, mindset behind Ajinkya Rahane naming the
Yeah,
captain.
I mean, a safe option. That's what it is. It's a safe option, could be a safe and settled option, could be a safe and inspiring. It is your perspective,
Yeah.
essentially, how you look at it. But they did have a few captaincy options in Quinton de Kock, the former South African international. You had a Roman Powell, West Indian T20 captain as well. It's another thing, it's tough to find places for these two guys when you have a Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, and a few others to choose from. So that could have been the reasons where they thought, who's our number one guy or number two or number three guy who's there in the playing 11 that we don't have to really rake our brains over. And Rahane is probably one of those guys. You also have a Manish Pandey in that lineup, a
Yes.
veteran domestic player now, same batchmate of Virat Kohli. But yeah, Ajinkya Rahane, as you mentioned, it's a safe option. Maybe works out, maybe not. Moving on,
Or maybe Chandu sir wanted a Mumbaiya to lead this team.
Mumbaiker, of course, that's another great point to make. I mean, you need a Mumbaiker in Kolkata, so yeah, could very well. Who their captains were, LSG, quite straightforward. Akash, Rishabh Pant, highest buy at the auction. You had to give the captaincy to Rishabh Pant because there were talks of Rishabh Pant with DC. Will it be Axar? Will it be Rishabh? Once Rishabh put his name at the auctions table, whoever was going to take it, they were going to take him as a captaincy option, no less. Because you had other good captaincy options in Nicholas Pooran, you have it in Aiden Markram, David Millen, and others. But Rishabh Pant for you, a no-brainer. And what do you think he will bring to LSG? Similar to something what he brought to DC as well.
See, the reports what we came across about Rishabh Pant, that he wanted the captaincy, but the DC management wasn't in favor to have him as a leader. So that's why he moved to LSG, and now, as you said, it was a no-brainer that Rishabh Pant would be the captain, the most expensive, most expensive till date, 27 crores. Uh, so, and now that he comes in the team as a captain, obviously he will be a cheerful leader, I will say.
Yeah.
He will be a cheerful leader because he was the one who worked relentlessly behind the return of Kuldeep Yadav. What the Kuldeep Yadav, the version that we are seeing
In
right
DC,
now,
yeah.
yeah, in DC, Rishabh Pant's backing has played a massive role. So I think he is going to play the same role, and several youngsters or several even the experienced players are going to benefit from that. But looking at the LSD squad, my biggest concern is they will be having a great, conundrum in finding the balance, because you name some of the players like David Miller here, Aiden Markram, and then Rishabh Pant himself, Nicholas Pooran is already there with Ayush Badoni doing such a great thing for LSG, and in fact, for that matter, he has been retained as well. So with all these superstars in the side, it's going to be a headache for the LSG management to find the right 11, and also at the same time to get the balance out of it, because if you get four overseas players for say in an 11, who will be there?
Yeah, that's true.
All of them will be a batter. All of them will be batter. Or if you want to remove one and put in a bowler for suppose Shema Joseph, then which batter will be benched? That's a big question.
And also their bowling is essentially, apart from a Shamar Joseph, is all Indian domestic,
Yeah.
and not even players who are in their first 11 Indian team. Guys like Avesh Khan who've been on the fringes. So the bowling in a way without Shamar Joseph also looks quite weak.
Absolutely, and also even if you see, like, they have spent around 7 crores or something to have Akash Deep, and Akash Deep happens to be a player who hasn't played that much of T20 cricket, not for India and not even in the domestic circuit. So for him, this tournament is also going to be a learning. But we must not forget what he did in the RCB camp for the Royal
Yeah,
Challengers
yeah.
Bangalore in the past couple of seasons or so. So that could be the case. But once again, the problem here is that an experienced, a polished bowler a polished T20 bowler. I think LSG is lacking somewhere
LSG is
down
lacking
the
there.
lines, and that will be the biggest challenge for the team as a whole, with a new captain, with a new management at place. So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. And one of the other factors is their pool of bowlers has a Mayank Yadav, has a Mohsin Khan, as Akash mentioned, Akash Deep. The two of them, the two names that I mentioned, Mayank and Mohsin, are the most injury prone bowlers. Akash Deep is coming from an injury itself. Shamar Joseph has been out of action from an injury point of view as well. So very thin, if injuries mount up for them, they do, you do have a Rajavardhan Hangargekar and Arshin Kulkarni, but then again, they are not your top notch bowlers. They are young guys, 21-year-old, 19-year-old guys. So
And they
very
come in
difficult.
as all rounders, not pure
Yeah,
bowlers as
they
well.
come in as all rounders and not as pure bowlers as well. So yeah, it will be very difficult for Rishabh Pant to really factor in, go with a batting heavy, unit, or have some bowling.